Johannes, you have, of course, prepared a lot of talking points, and you also have a quiz position for us, for you at home.
Yeah, we thought it would be nice to have a little quiz for our viewers. We would ask our viewers, we would invite our viewers to find out or to speculate from which game this position comes and in how far this game is related to the upcoming World Championship match between Gukesh D and Ding Liren.
Yeah, of course, we have chosen, or you have chosen a nice position which is related. It's not like some random position, and it looks fearsome. So it's
So the last move was black played, as you might have guessed, knight e4 takes f2. Well, and white played.
Now it's about for white to either take back or play
So I
something
think
different.
white has to take back.
I thought maybe there's like a hidden twist or something. Yeah.
No, there's no hidden twist. I mean, there's just obvious twists, but I mean, white has to take back.
Okay, but we will of course solve this at the end of our show.
Yeah.
Let us talk about the World Championship. So you were asking me yesterday when we were preparing a little bit for the show, how high will Gukesh win?
No, I didn't ask this. I mean, my question would be if you are a betting man, would you how much money would you bet on either Gukesh and Ding? And I was asking this because, I mean, we're not the only ones predicting or talking about this match. And if you look at the predictions, it's always, it's pretty obvious. Gukesh will win, no doubt about it. And so I was wondering, why not take, €1,000, $1,000 or even more or even less, go to the sports betting system or online and get some extra money for Christmas.
Yeah, we're not promoting this, of course, but of course it's a hypothetical question. So, and you take the amount of money which is risky for you at your own cost, and I would think like, yes, €1,000, that's a lot. It's really a lot. So, and if I would have a gun to my head and go like, you have to bet on one side, then it would be Gukesh. There's no question. The chances are just higher.
But the question is the match really that clear? I mean, people talk. I mean, people behave as if it's absolutely obvious. And I even know. I mean, maybe for English viewers they didn't notice this, but I read an article by the German grandmaster Gerald Herdnick, who proposed that because Ding is such a bad shape, that FIDE should intervene and take his right away, not let him play. And when I was reading this, I said maybe this is in good faith to give chess players an interesting match. But on the other hand, I thought I mean this is a step into dictatorship, because Ding is the reigning world champion, and you just cannot go and say, well, you didn't play well enough the last 2 years, so
it is
no
crazy.
Match for you.
It is very crazy because, of course, once the candidates, first of all, the candidates tournament where Gukesh qualified, it was on the edge, like until the very last round. It could have been that Gukesh would not have been the player after all, but it happened to be. And then he pulled out there was a couple of tournaments where he was just like enormously good. And talking about where I saw him live in Budapest at the Olympiad, he was like a menace. So his form is just very high, and I have the feeling that after the candidates tournament that he just developed to a new level. So he is perhaps just one of the very best players in the world, right? Without a doubt, he's one of the very best. But if the question is who is the best player in the world right now, is it still Carlsen, or is it even Eric Geisy, or is it Gukesh?
No doubt about it. It's Carlsen. Even No, I
You
mean, I have
really?
absolute, yeah, I've no doubt about it. Carlsen wins everything he plays, and he's done so for the last whatever years, you know.
Okay,
It's
okay.
just like for the last 15 years.
Interesting.
There's absolutely no doubt about it. You know, Carlsen dominates in all kinds of forms and classical, rapid, and blitz chess, and you know.
Okay.
But coming back to the match, even though I have doubts that it's as clear as people
Me too.
you know, the numbers indicate or just speak clearly in favor of Gukesh, because as you said, he won the candidates, and then he has continued with a number of impressive performances, and you know, he played the Olympiad 10 out of 11, I think he made. While Ding, on the other hand, after becoming world champion, has just not performed good in any tournament he has played in. So, for
Well,
whatever reasons, you know, mental health reasons, that's
yeah,
what
it's
he
a big
said.
point. It's a big point.
But on the other hand, it might be that he will come back. And I would wonder, I mean, if you were an advisor to Ding, what would you recommend him?
What would be the pep talk? You can do it. You're the champion. You got this. So I would. What would I recommend? That's a very good question for you at home. Think about it as well. If you were the coach, if you were the second of Ding, and your task is to make Ding a world champion, where would you put his cheating device? No, but where would you try to tackle? Which points would you try to tackle? So, and as you said already, it is very much a health condition, which is also psychologically just very difficult. And I don't even know how it is in the Republic of China, how people are pushing Ding forward, that it would be very good if China's presence in chess would like get another boost like this. So if he's getting like more pressure from his country, I don't know about that. I don't know how his seconds are working with him, but so I personally would put lots of stuff very unconventionally into psychological methods. So I would not concentrate too much on chess, but to get his mind fit. That would be my approach. What about yourself?
Well, I thought that Ding should channel his inner Ding if he somehow manages to do so. Well, one should not forget that from August 2017 to November 2018, Ding managed a 100-game unbeaten streak, so he didn't lose. And I think, what did I read? In July, he was at one time he was the number one world rapid player. So from this, my idea would be very clear to Ding. Focus on what focus on your inner Ding. Play 14 games, try to draw or counter, and then win the rapid tiebreak. It's as easy as that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so from a technical point of view, I have to add one more thing. So, time control.
Time control, yeah.
That is an interesting point, and I'm not sure if you have investigated it more, because I'm still on the standpoint that it is 2 hours for 40 moves, and right after the 40th move, you get the increment of 30 seconds, but not before. Is that how it is right now? Yeah, right?
I thought you would get, I think it would be, you have to play 40 moves in 2 hours and then 20 moves in 1 hour. And after 60 moves, there's the increment.
Okay.
But I'm not entirely...
Nonetheless, the point I'm trying to make is that, and Carlsen said it himself, that Gukesh is perhaps one of the greatest calculators in the world right now. He is doing extremely well in long games and classical games. And he's not doing that well, as we have already seen in a couple of tournaments, in Rapid and Blitz. That's just not really his thing. And Rapid already, he doesn't have this very important time he needs to calculate, because he's calculating. So another idea about this is, since the time control, there's no increment in the first 2 hours. I think that is pretty sure.
Yeah.
And if Ding can manage to use some aggressiveness and risky playing, which is still a high level, which it probably can be, then he might be able to get Gukesh into time trouble. And this will resolve into a blunder, a mistake, or some... He cannot get his full potential to at least calculate, which could lead to a draw, because Ding is also very, very good in endgames. I've found a little statistic.
Oh,
I
good.
made a little statistic, let's say it like that, about the new chess-based feature, chess-based 18 feature, the style report. So what I just did, it's very, very quickly assembled. There's a style report of Ding Liren and Gukesh. But of course, I made 3 style reports. This one is from 2022. We see 50 games by Ding and 132 young and wild Gukesh.
Yeah.
And it looks almost as if all the bars, except the endgame bar, because, well, he didn't have many endgames. He just finished the games earlier. He's young and wild, and he's playing aggressive and risky, 150%. He's a very young Tal almost. No, not like that, but he had success with that. And Ding, in 2022, he was a positional monster. 173% is the highest bar of all the bars we can see here. And we have some observations here, but the interesting part is where it changes. If we take 2023, for example, just a year later, positional play is still at the absolute top of Ding, but his risk and aggressiveness have also risen a little bit. There was no aggressiveness in 2022 and no risk, but he has done some development in this case here. And also his tenacity, did it grow? No, it was okay. He's also a fighter. That's another thing. And the interesting part is that in 2023, Gukesh also gained a huge positional play. And this is perhaps, and this is my idea about it, this is because he started to notice that his calculations are top level, super grandmaster level. Here it was 83%, yes, and the aggressive risk was bigger, but here, 2023, a lot of growth. And then we have 2024, and of course it's the least games of all of them, so the statistics are a bit lower. Ding Liren remains very strong in positional play. His theory is also, I think it was always over 100. No, there in 2020. Oh, and his theory was actually growing in this year. Also, we just have 50 games, but he had some good theoretical results. So maybe he was concentrating on some things to take care of. But his aggressiveness and risk went down a little bit again. So all in all, I think endgames, Ding Liren was also far better, and we have little to no endgame affinity by Gukesh. So if I can think about, like, Ding can make it happen, make some risky decisions, unlikely for him, get Gukesh into trouble calculating, and then get into an endgame with a slight advantage, we might be in for a big surprise. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I know it's a bit silly for pure amateurs as us to give recommendations to,
of course,
to players who are prepared for the World Championship.
Well, that's what football fans are doing on the football court all the time. Why don't you shoot? My God, I could have made this one.
Yeah. But just from the impressions I gained before the match, I think that Gukesh is a huge favorite, but it's also his first World Championship match, and he might be nervous, and he has to get adjusted to the atmosphere, and this might be Ding's chance to, and therefore I would think it would be good for Ding just to risk not too much in the first games of the match, and then just try to see how things develop. And I also think that the longer the match lasts, and the longer Gukesh still has to figure out how to win a world championship match, the better it is for Ding. Because I think it can make nervous, Suddenly if you play 6, 7, 8 games, 8 draws, in a row, you start to doubt your ability to win a game.
This is very interesting. I think it's the opposite is the case. And I guess you are right that nervousness is, of course, especially when you're young and it's your first world championship. But then again, I mean, how many world championships has Ding played? 1. So it's like not that big of a comparison. He didn't play like Carlsen in, how many did Carlsen play? 5, 6?
5.
5, yeah. So that, I would say, like in the fifth or in the fourth or in the fifth, and Carlsen, he has played them. He knows the deal. He was very well aware to play a lot of draws against Caruana and get him into the rapid section and turn the tables there a little bit later. But that was a very tight match, of course. So I've seen Gukesh, 17 years old back then, in September. I think he just turned 18. While he, first of all, in Budapest. And this was like a kind of a little silent agreement that the Indian players, this was their strategy, do not get involved into too many interviews or outside occurrences, or they would say, like, leave this for the last day. You can do all of this on the last day, but during the tournament, concentrate on yourself. And this is like a very normal thing. You see Gukesh sitting at the board. I'm not sure if he's meditating. Maybe it is something like this. Maybe not. Maybe he's just clearing his mind. And he is cool as a cucumber. And he's 17 years old. So you don't know what is really happening inside of him, but it feels as if he is so cool and so straightforward with his thinking that he's like, I know I can calculate like nobody else, and I will win this game. He's very confident too. I mean, it's legendary. The sentence that he said, like, are you a good or a bad loser? I don't think I'm a loser at all. And then we're taking Ding, who, yeah, of course, he has the tiny advantage, in my opinion, that he already played a world championship. But then he has the health conditions, which are a big part of all of this. I believe that if you are sitting there for a long time and you think like, oh my God, am I really thinking this? Do I really feel right? I just want to get out of here. Something is wrong. I feel uneasy. I need some water. I think this would play into nervousness so much more. So if I would say who has a bigger advantage when it comes to nervousness, then I would say Gukesh is the favorite here. What do you think at home?
Probably, but still, even such a cool player as Carlsen, when he played his first World Championship match against Arne, I mean, his father in a recent interview said that Carlsen was, in the first 2 games, was absolutely nervous, so nervous that he had problems to move the pieces correctly because he was so nervous. And Carlsen he doesn't strike me as a person who gets excited. No.
That's
so
true.
Yeah. Well,
we will see. We will see very soon. So
but just
yes.
maybe we should also focus on the facts.
Okay.
This is the World Championship match. It's 14 games, and the winner is the first one to get 7.5 points. And I think there's a prize fund of $2.5 million. And I think also, which is quite interesting, that if you win a game, you get $200,000. And the rest of the money is shared. Yeah. So, and I think you're talking about nervousness. I think it would make me nervous to play for $200,000 per game.
That's interesting. I guess that's also a part of like philosophy in general. So when we're talking about some Chinese philosophy and some Indian philosophy, or like a way how you have been brought up and think about material values. What do you think, who has higher affinity to money from the both players?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know either, of course, but it also depends on the second, because Gukesh cannot answer this question to himself. He's too young, I would say. The experience is missing. So it depends a lot of who is his second, who are the coaches who are surrounding him, and who can give him advice about the money situation if they do so. And it is very clever. It's a very good point you're raising. It is very, very good to tackle this point. And if you are a smart second or a smart coach of Gukesh, you would probably go like, do not think about the money at all. Don't even care about it, because you're 18 and you are a great player. Money is not a thing which you have to worry about.
No, I think that's absolutely true. And I mean, can't imagine that either one of them has financial problems. And, so
now, if the two of us would play and 200K is on the table, that I would, my heartbeat would go to 200, of course. That would be very rough. Yeah. So maybe we should do this at one point when both of us are multimillionaires. Then we can
find
be a
us
bit
a
more
sponsor,
chilled about that.
Find us a sponsor, and I'm all in.
Excellent. Johannes, you are a historian about chess and events, and you are a living chess encyclopedia. So
no, this is just, thanks for the compliment.
I know you're humble about this. I know about that.
No.
But what I want to get to is, what kind of past events of the World Championship shook you up the most, or what is one of the events you were like remembering for forever, and why?
Well, yeah, that's interesting that you ask, because I was thinking about it this morning, and I think the World Championship match that probably influenced me the most is the one between Fischer and Spassky in 1972. But when this match was played, I didn't play chess at that time. I was still too young. So, but I remember that one of the first chess books I've ever read was Svetozar Grigorich's book about the world chess champion, about the world match against Spassky Fischer. And I found this in the public library in the part of Hamburg where I grew up. And I think I went back to this library again and again just to borrow this book.
Oh, that's nice.
And I read about the biography of Fischer and the biography of Spassky. I didn't really play through the games, or if I did, I didn't understand them. But I think then the first match I was following, first World Championship match I was following more closely was the one in 1978 between Karpov and Korchnoi.
Oh, another highlight.
Yeah. But again, at that time we had no internet. It was just like, and you were lucky if the newspapers were just reprinting the games and so on and so on. And I mean, everyone in the chess scene was very enthusiastic about it. And but then you just said, oh, one draw after the next, and all the gossip and all the excitement around this, and we didn't follow it that closely. But I remember that once we, just the more recent matches, this for me was always a kind of a drug, And
a drug, yeah, okay.
A drug. I followed all the games live, and I actually had mild withdrawal symptoms on the rest day, because it was so exciting. You have two games, and then, oh my God, what will I do on the rest day?
Yes.
What will I do on the rest day?
That's interesting. Yes. Okay.
So, and in the upcoming match, we have 3 games in a row, and then we have a rest day.
Oh no! Wow.
Yeah.
Who thought of that?
No, but I think it's better, because in previous matches we had 2 games rest day, 2 games rest day. So
is that so? See, I didn't even know that.
I think,
wow.
Yeah, if I remember correctly.
That's too many rest days.
And also what I find interesting is just in a way how these World Championship matches, how I still remember certain events from World Championship matches. I mean, events in my life. For instance, I remember in 2000 when at the beginning of the Kasparov-Kramnik match, I think it was the very first game, and this was maybe it was not, and Kramnik introduced the Berlin defense.
Yeah.
And my wife, or friends of my wife, had invited themselves for coffee, and I was obliged to go away from the screen, and have a little chat, and all the time, through
You were like thinking, like, will it be the Berlin Wall again?
And now, at that time, it was not the Berlin Wall. It was. I still remember this. I was wondering what is Kramnik doing there, because it looked so bad in a way. And when the friends arrived, I had to leave the screen, and I thought Kasparov was clearly better, and he would win the game. And when the couple left again, I looked at it. It was a draw. And so this is my. This is how I remember the Berlin defense, and also I think it was the World Championship match between Gelfand and Arnold, and it was the game Gelfand won. It was the first decisive game of the match, and by chance I was in Berlin at that time.
Oh.
And I was visiting an old and a good friend of mine, and I was in Berlin, and I was thinking about calling him up, and he said, "Oh yeah, nice to hear from you again, and yeah, come and stay," and so on and so on. And we looked at this game, and this was the last time I've ever met him, because a couple of months later he died unexpectedly. And so knowing that the last time I saw him was the day Gelfand won against Arnold.
Wow. Oh, yeah. That of course is a thing. Yeah, you will
and
never
also
forget.
And also, it's just like I remember the Carlsen against Nepomniachtchi match, and I was following the games live. And the sixth game, I had to get up early the next morning. And the game was very long, and I thought, "Oh, Johannes, go to bed. I mean, come on, you don't understand anything." Anyway,
was it the 7-hour game? Yeah,
it was the 7-hour game. It was the crucial game of the match, and it looked as if it could be the crucial game of the match, and so it was like this. Just I had a feeling that I might be witnessing something historic live, and so this made me stay up till the end of the game, even though I was dead. It was worth it, and I didn't regret it. And it was so, even though the end game was complicated and dreary, and that didn't seem to happen so much, I think it was very, very exciting.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so, yeah.
Now I have to ask you, if I think about the last 10 years of the World Championship matches, this game we were just talking about, the 7-hour game, is the only real thing I personally remember, which was like something where I go like, "Wow, that was special. That was a cool game or something." That's me personally, because I think, I don't know, maybe it's just me because I wasn't very interested, but the other matches, I hardly even know who played, and and if you mentioned like a lot of other games. I mean, you mentioned Fischer, Spassky, you mentioned Korchnoi, and so on, and Kramnik, and the Kramnik, even Topalov. They all had some craziness and something very, very special and remarkable, which you will never forget. So there was a magic in the World Championship matches. I personally think in the last 10 years, I didn't feel that much of magic. Am I wrong?
Well, I mean, how can you be wrong? This is what you feel. I feel absolutely differently. I feel
There we
I feel the very format is magic.
Uh-huh.
Just like you have two of the world's best chess players. Okay, I mean Carlsen decided to withdraw from the matches, and this diminishes them somewhat in value, but still, I mean, and you have two of the world's best chess players, and they play for about a month, 12 games or 14 games against each other. And I think this is so intense and such a great format. And I think it's rare. I mean, in which kind of sport do you have this kind of encounter? You know? And I think
Sounds good. How much did
I think-
Google pay you to say that?
unfortunately, not enough
Not enough.
to reduce my heart rate when playing for 200,000.
But it sounds you're a good promoter for this. Sorry, but I didn't want to cut you off.
This is why I like to follow these events, you know. And I think I'm not the only one. I mean, I think it's just normally chess. Okay, it changed a bit since the Queen's Gambit, and we have a chess boom, but still, chess is not in the mainstream. But when the World Championship is on, newspapers reports, magazine reports, and chess is in the limelight. And I think this is because the format is so convincing, you know, and it's a bit old-fashioned. I find, you know, that
It
we
is
have this,
true.
yeah. And also, I find again, like, you know, okay, we have this Caruana Carlsen match, which all the games ended in a draw. But I have to say that I personally found every game played between them absolutely exciting.
There we go.
Every game.
Interesting.
Yeah, because in every game you could feel the tension, and you could feel that just one slip could change the outcome of the match, and so for me
You're
that
a
was just
true chess soul, Johannes.
thank you very much. No, but and okay, I mean, this is again like I find that you see World Championship matches, you see the two of the best players, and somehow you seem to assume that they will bring their best, and you will have a lot of great games. And not every game is great. Some games are just average, and you're boring, and nothing happens much. Some games are marked by errors, but also, you know, in the history of World Championship, you have amazing games. You know, if you look at the games Kasparov and Karpov played, some of the games Kasparov won, fantastic, you know.
No doubt about this. Let's talk about openings, because this is the thing which I thought about very recently. Also, when I made the recent episode with Svetlana Demchenko, where we were analyzing the last game that Ding Liren and Gukesh played against each other, which was in Wijk aan Zee, and who won? It was Ding Liren. So I was wondering, because of course Gukesh played e4, and I'm not sure how much you know about the openings. Actually,
Not much.
not much. Let me throw on the machine. Give me a second, please. Oh,
he's
look
a
at
D4.
this. He's a d4 player. I mean, he also plays e4, but he also plays knight f3 similarly often as e4 almost. That's a surprise to me, actually. He's a d4 player. And this is the normal c4, of course. So, yeah, I'm always like wondering. So Svetlana mentioned that they have so much time that they probably will prepare for an opening which has never been played before, maybe, or they haven't played that often. So both of them are on like completely equal playground. Nobody knows what is happening, what will be the first move. So I wonder, will there be, after this World Championship match, which is like happening, will there be like an opening which will then become the newest trend because it's working, like the Berlin, for which you mentioned earlier? And Ding is a player also d4 at absolute. Oh, look at this! e4 is hardly in his repertoire. See, I didn't even know that. He played it, but rarely. It's d4 and c4 at knight f3. e4 is so old school. Well, okay, that was just a quick mega database check, mega database 2025. So what do you think is this is because after a world championship has been played, then there's like a lot of trends for openings, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Any idea what they would come up with? Is it going to be, which is very trendy at the moment, is the Italian game? Will it? But
Well,
he lost.
again, I feel absolutely not qualified to answer that question.
I think
But
that's a good answer. Yeah.
But what I found interesting is that in the Nepomniachtchi Ding match, that Ding in every game came up with something new, and he had Richard Rapport as his second, and Richard Rapport is known for his original ideas, and so basically it seemed to be like being a kind of a moving target. So you try to surprise your opponent in every game. You do not say, this is the opening I play, and this is the opening that is solid, and, try to find something against it. Say, in every game there's something new.
That may be. Johannes, it is time, I think, to solve our little riddle, which we had in the very beginning of our show.
Before we do this, we should actually commit ourselves. After all this talk, things
okay.
should do, and
all right, let's do that.
Gukesh is really the clear favorite, and so on and so on. I put it to you the question: who will win the World Championship match 2024, and what do you think will be the final result?
Yeah, our final result is difficult because I would need to calculate, I guess.
Will it be a tiebreak? Will it be, and who wins the tiebreak then? Will it be Ding +4? Will it be Gukesh +5?
So the tiebreak is a thing which is not out of the world, in my opinion. And, if it's a tiebreak, then Gukesh is in trouble, maybe. So Gukesh has to put all his power into win before the tiebreak, and I think he will manage. So yeah, Gukesh will win, but not like a landslide. He will win. I would say maybe +2 max.
So you say no tiebreak, Gukesh will win +2.
Yeah, I think he can make it happen to avoid the tiebreak. Either because he will play a bit too risky, rather lose 1 or 2 more games, but win 4 instead because of that.
Okay.
What about you?
I think Gukesh +3,
Okay.
I don't think Ding will find him. I don't think Ding will actually find the strength,
Look,
I don't think he will be able to recover from his crisis. If he recovers, it's very, very good. But in the 2 years we've seen him after winning the World Championship match against Nepomniachtchi, there was not a single tournament in which he really, really played up to at least to a glimpse of his former self. And I don't think this will happen. And I would be very astonished if he could do this on demand in one of the most crucial matches of his career.
So, quick.
And
yeah.
Let me add this. And maybe, I just personally, I'm very neutral, but maybe it's better if Gukesh wins the World Championship match, because he seems to be the player to come. He is 18 years old. He would be the youngest, and he is a representative of India chess, and Indian chess is booming. And so Gukesh seems to have the ability and seems to be able to become, a top player, one of the greatest players of all time. If he develops in the way in which he started to develop, and maybe this will even, make Carlsen consider to fight for the world championship.
That would be lovely.
Which I doubt he will,
I doubt too. I doubt it too.
But still, anyway, but we will see. But I think after all, and even though I think the match is not as clear as
Yeah.
numbers might indicate. I think Gukesh will win, and I think he will win by +3.
Okay, so at the beginning of this year, when I saw the tournament in Weissenhaus, which was
Yes.
where Ding Liren and Gukesh were also both playing, I told to a lot of people that I don't believe that Ding Liren will even play. Because I was almost like, this will be a slaughter. It's just not working. It's impossible. There's like this, the difference is too high. It won't be fun. It has to be a year later or something like that. Maybe they can manage. I changed my mind a lot about this because now the tendency is almost clearer. And so many times, and this is just a statistical thing, where people believe, like, I don't know, let's give the US elections or the Tyson against Logan fight, for example. The predictions were very clear, and it's like, oh, of course, it can only be that. And, turns around that it's not always that clear. We believe that things are always very clear from some stats and our personal bias. And I do also think it's going to be very, very tight after all. And I hope it will be, because it's more attractive then, of course. If Gukesh would just win, it would be sad. Nothing against Gukesh. Actually, I had such a nice contact with him in Budapest. And my goodness, is he a genuinely nice, humble, cool person with a sense of humor and everything. I love this guy. So I hope that he can make it. Okay, let's wrap it up. And first, we reveal what the position in the game was. It is, you will share the screen now.
So the position we asked you to identify is from the game Alireza Firouzja against Gukesh D from the Candidates Tournament 2024, which Gukesh won. And it was played in the 7th round, and the amazing thing about this game is that Gukesh lost it, although he was better, clearly better, slightly better. And after this loss, he said something amazing. After the tournament, he said that after the 7th round, his loss against Alireza Firouzja, he felt at his absolute best. So, and I found this quite impressive, that someone is able to suffer a bitter defeat, a crucial defeat, and then said, after that, I felt that things would be all right. And I mean, again, this just reminds me of another anecdote that I think it was the Danish Grandmaster Ben Larsen, and an absolute optimist. I think he started once the tournament with 2 losses, and then one of his colleagues talked to him. He said, "Aren't you, do these losses not affect you?" And he said, "No, why should they? I will win the tournament anyway." So, and he did.
Yeah,
and he did.
But
now let's look at the game. Yeah,
Alireza was white in this case, and Gukesh black. Yeah.
Why is this not working? Yeah,
there we go.
Alireza was white, and also it was just like, again, Alireza played in the candidates tournament as a kind of co-favorite, but he lost 3 of his first 6 games, and he was frustrated again, and he wanted to win against Gukesh, but also it was just like he gave Gukesh all the chances. So he played Gukesh. If you were open with d4, knight f6, we have a London, and all this is quite normal. c5, knight f3, e6, knight d2, queen b6, rook b1, c takes d, e takes d, bishop d7, c3, bishop b5. Yeah, I think black has no problems here in the opening. So h4.
There we go.
Revealing his aggressive intentions.
Probably biting, making this sound while he made the move.
Yeah, 97, rook h3, which I think is quite unusual, you know.
Difficult to castle now.
Difficult to castle, if not impossible. But the idea is, of course, just to bring the rook to g3 and to attack the black king.
Which is not even there.
Bishop e7, h5. Black now has to react. h6, a4. Bishop takes f1.
My goodness, yes, it is very attacking.
Yeah. Castles, black castles kingside.
That's brave.
It's brave, but on the other hand, it's not as dangerous. I mean, white's attack is not really dangerous.
Maybe I'm a bit too scared here.
Yeah, king g1, queen c6, knight e5, knight takes, d takes e, knight d7.
Now you can finally play rook g3. The knight is gone.
G3, king h8. And now white plays a5.
So this is interesting. Queen g4 is a bit too premature, I guess.
No, but then black just plays rook g8, and so he he plays the pawn to a4 to a5 to have to be able to bring the queen to g4, and then you don't have to take care of the pawn. And now black plays
c7, of course it was
attacking
hanging.
a5 and e5. White plays knight f3.
White says
And
take it.
Black, now black takes the pawn. And now Firouzja plays something which is quite interesting. He plays c4, you know. And if he wanted, he could have played queen d2, intending to sacrifice on h6.
I've seen this pattern once.
Yeah, and so, I mean, what is black to do? I mean, there's basically only one move to
h7.
King h7, and now I play queen d3, check, or queen c2, doesn't matter. And you only have king h8, and, well, you know, guess what? Queen d2, and now it's most likely a draw by repetition.
It is. I'm just wondering if you cannot even take on h6 with the bishop, and then no, you can't. No.
After queen d2, that's the threat, but after king h7, you can't.
No, I wanted to do it before the queen moved to d2, but of course it's not working. I mean, imagine I would find out.
Yeah. So, queen a5, c4. So Firouzja obviously plays for win, risking something. Rook g8, rook a1, queen b4, b3, knight c5. So, and in this position, black is a pawn up, and white has only dubious compensation. So, knight d4, knight e4, rook e3.
Oh, the knight is so strong there.
Queen c5. And again, I mean, I find that Firouzja plays this game very entertainingly and very, 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 very creatively. Here he plays rook c1, rook d8, and now b4.
Let's give him another pawn. One is not enough.
Yeah, one is not enough. But the idea is, if you take the pawn, I have rook b3. I mean, as an idea.
I see, okay.
And in this position...
Here we go.
Yeah. And again, I mean, the candidates tournament was played with the time limit they use at the World Championship match. So it's just 2 hours. You have 2 hours for 40 moves. And both players in this situation were in severe time trouble. And both thought that white black was winning after knight f2. Because white takes the pawn, and now rook d5. And how do you save the knight on d4? I mean, this was black's idea. You sacrifice the knight on f2, and then you pin the knight on d4, and you regain the piece, and you win with your queenside pawns. Rook d8.
Bishop e3.
Bishop e3. Bishop c5.
Uh-huh.
And it's interesting because, I mean, it seems to be such a natural move to play this, but I think a5 was better at a certain point of time. Anyway, he played this.
Yeah, it's very open. It would have been a better move, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. And now white has queen b3.
And this is how you save a knight.
This is how you save the piece, yeah. Queen b3, knight b3, bishop takes, rook takes. And now we have a position in which black has 3 pawns for the piece. And objectively the position is equal, dynamically equal. If black manages to get his queenside pawns moving, he is all right. But on the other hand, the white pieces are quite strong. The rook on c1 can penetrate to c7. And of course, black's king is finally in grave danger. a5, rook c7, a4, knight c5, rook a8.
Rook a3, I guess.
Now this is too passive,
It is.
If you play rook a3, b5, and then, the black
I see. Okay, so you have to take the pawn first?
No, you don't take the pawn.
Oh.
You play knight d7.
Yeah, of course.
You play actively. So, and why do you play knight d7? So what would happen? What would happen if black played the natural move a3?
Okay, now I have the feeling that I remember this game as well, and I also wonder if it was Svetlana Demchenko who showed it to me.
Maybe.
Or at least I remember this kind of game. There was some crazy tactic. Was it just knight f6?
No.
No.
You just take the pawn.
Oh, you just take the pawn.
Yeah, black put it on a3, so I just take it.
Oh my gosh.
And after this,
Oh,
check, a7,
brutal.
knight f8. It's checkmate. So black can't play a3. He played king h7, and this is the decisive error. He should have played b5. But he played king h7. And now I find this quite amazing how Firouzja, he had only seconds, both sides had only seconds for the game. And he now played rook f3.
Yeah, just a quick question. Knight b6 is not working because?
Because of a rook d2 check.
Thank you. That makes sense.
And rook f3 is stronger. I mean, you do not want to win material, you want to mate the king. a3. So now
you have to take a pawn.
Now you take on f7. King h8. Knight f8. a2. And
it's over.
After knight g6, Gukesh resigned because after king h7 or king g8, it's mate on g7.
What a game. Very nice.
I think it's a nice game. It's not, of course, I mean, I thought it was a fighting game, it's just, it was not an attacking game, or it was a fighting game in which Firouzja took quite a lot of risks, but
lost the fight.
This finally paid off. But at any rate, what I found amazing is Gukesh's reaction to this loss.
Yeah.
Because this was played in the 7th round, so the halfway mark, and after this loss against Firouzja, he was trailing half a point. He was again half a point behind Nepomniachtchi, who was leading the candidates tournament after 7 rounds. And had he won this game, he would have been first with 5 out of 7. But now he was just shared second with 4 out of 7. And then to say, I mean, a lot of players would have gone, oh my God, I should have won, and blah, blah, blah. But he said, I felt at my absolute best. And I think this is a sign of mental strength and resilience. And if he manages to keep that up during the World Championship match, he has very, very good chances to live up to the role of favorite. Probably everyone who watches this show will know this, but the World Championship match will begin on Monday, 25th, in Singapore. And
that means we have to wake up early.
No, we don't have to wake up early.
It's 10 o'clock, right?
10:40. I mean, I think it's 10:45 or something. So it's. I mean, for German viewers, it's a dream.
A piece of cake, exactly. Yes.
maybe not if you happen to work, and if you happen to work.
But you know what? World Championships in football and Euro was always the same. So there's always a way to work around. Exactly.
Priorities.
Thank you everybody for watching.
Yeah. Oh, wait, and I mean, of course, this is again self-evident. It would be nice if you shared your predictions in the comments.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see who you think will win. If there's anybody in the Ding Lager, what is it called? In the camp of Ding,
it would also, of course, it's just enough to write Ding or Gukesh. It's also okay to write 7.5, 5.5 for Ding, but it would also be nice to give a little explanation if you feel inclined to give one. Anyway, we look forward to your comments, and we hope to see you again next week or soon.
Until then.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.